One word from heaven, and the locks break open. One word from heaven, and my chains are broken. Then you speak, and the night comes loose. Then you speak, and I come alive in you. Then you speak, and the chains fall down. Then you speak, and I hear you now. Then you but I got burned out, and the song in my throat became a weary shout. You found me in a wreck when my hope dropped low, and you called me by name, and my dead heart woke. One word from heaven, and the fear starts leaving. One word from heaven, and my soul stopped bleeding. Then you speak, and the night comes loose. Then you speak, and I come alive in you. Then you speak, and the chains fall down. Then you speak, and I hear you now. Then you speak over my shaking, speak over my doubt, speak over the water, come and pull me out. If you say it, it stands. If you say it, I can, I can, I can. Then you speak, and the night comes loose. Then you speak, and I come alive in you. Then you speak, and the chains fall down. Then you speak,
Oh, yeah.
and I hear you now. Then you speak, and the grave turns to a doorway, and I'm not who I was. Then you
Lord, speak over our lives today. Come on. Good morning, guys. Welcome into the Vital Axiom. As you know already, we're going to get started at 11:30. About 3.5 minutes. Something like that. We're waiting on everybody to get logged in, get their notification. In the meantime, Lord, you fight for me. You fight my battles.
When giants rise and block the morning sun, fear whispers that my life's already done. I'm standing at the edge of everything I know, watching the wicked shadows grow, listening to the fierce winds blow. But then I hear a voice stronger than the shaking ground, a promise that is louder than the battle sound. You fight for me, step into my holy wall.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that good?
The victory belongs to you, oh Lord. I lift my hands, I worship you, bow down. I stand in the silence on this holy ground.
Oh, he's so good. Come on. I need you to fight for me, God.
To you, oh Lord, I lift my hands, I lay my armor down, I stand in the silence.
We're about to get started.
Holy ground, I won't be afraid, I won't be dismayed. The battle is
So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuned into the Vital Axiom Network. We broadcast this program daily, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from the southwest tip of Virginia, United States of America. We call it the Vital Axiom. And what is that exactly? Well, the word vital means crucial. The word axiom means truth. In this case, we call it crucially important, eternal truth, because we use the Word of God as the foundation for our conversation every single day. And here we go. We're going to do it again. Welcome in.
all my life.
Names are stacking up.
Your grace, the battle is yours.
Sometimes I got to remind myself that the battle is the Lord's.
Fight for me.
Yeah, he's a mighty warrior. Good morning, guys. Welcome into the Vital Axiom. It's good to have you in on Monday, July the 6th. We've made it through our big hoo-hoo. So I made a little meme. Let's see if I can find it. We made it through our big celebration weekend. 250 years. I was thinking last night, 1976 was 200. I was living then. Some of you weren't. And we celebrated our 200th anniversary. Now we're at 250, and things are going downhill. It sure seems that way. Anyway, America needs a big revival. How you doing? Did you have a good weekend? I don't know if anybody liked it. My wife says they did. I had a great time preaching Sunday. I was just all inspired and fired and ready to go, and worship was so good. We had a good service Sunday, and here we are on Monday. How you doing? Are you making it? Let's do our morning shout-outs. And this is how that works. If you log into one of our locations that we can see, I went back on Twitter today. I've been off there for a while because they've had me shadow banned, and I would get some things. If you leave it alone for a while, it'll go away. I don't know if it's true or not. So I started back on Twitter today, but I can't see it. I'm looking over here on, and there's a stranger in here over on YouTube. Miss Cassie's in there. Good morning, Cassie. How are you doing? Good to see you on the show today. Over on Instagram, my wifey's in there. Good morning, Shay. How you doing? Over on on the Vital Axiom official Facebook page, we got a crew in there. Becca's in there. Doty's in there. Amanda's in there. Joyce is in there. Luann is in there. Jim, it might be more. Jim is in there. Cindy's up on Zion Family Ministries. I'm going to close some of these and reopen them because a lot of times it doesn't really show me people. And I really severely hate missing people. Over on my personal page, yep, see, there's Margie. She's in there. Didn't show her. And there's Tim and Patty. Didn't show them. Jim is in there. Over on my personal page, Matt, first one in today. Matt's in there. Miss Lisa's in there. Rhonda's in there. And we just got a crew gathering. How you guys doing? Are you doing good? I got my Bob's Market hat on today. If you live in Big Stone Gap, guy goes to our church, fantastic acoustic guitar player on our praise team. Abram and his wife, they have a place down there. You can go buy fresh meats. And I didn't really wear the hat. I just like the hat. I didn't wear it to advertise for them. You got to be careful. So in light of that, we also have Charlie Ramsey, who has a meat market in Wise. He's out there as you go out of Wise toward Pound. Charlie Ramsey's Meat Market, they got great meats too, so you can just go check it out. All kind of cool stuff, and good Christian people running those stores. Although I didn't really intend to advertise, I just like this hat a lot. I just really like it. He wore it one Sunday, and I saw him and said, "Dude, man, I got to have one of those. I like that hat a lot." And so here we go. What are you doing? What's everybody doing? Anybody else get in? I don't want to miss anybody before we get into our conversation. Mom got it. Good morning. Mom's in there. And I want to close Zion Family Ministries. It seems to be the worst one is the Zion Family Ministries page. I'll close it. It'll be 10 times as many people show up. Yeah, see, there's Peggy. There's Miss Dockery. None of those names were showing. It's ignorant. I had a conversation yesterday with the church about, let me get over to those notes, about being glad. You know, the lead photograph on this setup was "Aren't You Glad?" And that's what I called it. We talked about 250 years anniversary of the United States, and then I said, "Aren't you glad?" That's what the Lord spoke to me in my hick. You know, He speaks to me in hick. He said, aren't you glad? And I was like, okay, what are you saying to the Lord? And the Lord said to me, what are you glad about? A lot of times, we look at people around us and think we've got it worse or something. But, man, I had one lady message me yesterday after the message and said, wow, that was so much for me. We're going through a lot, and I just made a choice to be glad. So what are you glad about? What's the first thing pops into your mind? I know you got a lot of things to be upset about, me too, and you got things to be sad about, me too. And we got deer eating our beautiful flowers we bought at Lowe's. We can't get her to stop. I'm going to have to do something. I'm not going to shoot her, but we got to get her to stop eating those beautiful flowers. We got stuff to complain about. But the title of this message is, aren't you glad? What's the first thing that comes to your mind that you are glad? Hey, Miss Gina and Coach, that you are glad about or could be glad about, that you should be glad about. Like, I went through this series. I'll go through it with you guys today. It's probably about all we'll get through. I'm glad I live in the United States of America. Now, let me give you just a short rundown of where I've been. First missions trip was to Costa Rica, and that was a very eye-opening experience. The poverty and the struggle people have. And then I started going to Europe. I was in Eastern Europe, 26 trips: Russia, Latvia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine. And I always wanted to come home, never wanted to stay. And I never wanted to transport my family over and say, let's live here. Africa, been to Kenya. I was at a roundabout in Kenya when a man walked up to the window of the car and literally ripped my watch right off my arm and stole it. And there's everything's dirt roads, and I mean, not everything, but a lot of dirt and pitiful living, and it was very difficult. I'm not downing the places I was at, but I'm just saying, I'm glad. I am so glad I live in the United States of America. And something I learned, I told this story yesterday. I'll tell it again just real quick. When I first went to Russia, it was cold in the wintertime. Don't go to Russia in the wintertime, 30 below or something. And I saw these two elderly men walking down the street together, locked arms. They locked arms, and I was like, that's kind of odd. Are they a little bit different or something going on? And somebody said to me, no, that's because of communism. I was like, what do you mean? Well, communism got everybody to spy on everybody. So the only way you could actually have a real conversation with somebody is to get out of your house because your house was bugged or they were listening to the walls, listen to your phone, get out of your house, and then they would lock arms together and lean over and whisper into one another's ear. It's the only way you could actually have a conversation. Everybody was tattletelling on everybody. And I said, man, I'm glad I live in the United States of America. I'm glad. I've been seeing all this stuff about all these people coming to visit America because of her 250th, and then posting stuff that all the media stuff they believe was lies. America's not anything like they thought it was because they've all lied about us. I'm glad I live in the United States of America, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I know Katie Kirk came out and called us all Christian nationalists, like it was some kind of curse word or something. Oh, I love the nation. I'm a Christian, and I'm not ashamed of either one of those things. And I love conservative values. No, I'm not ashamed of that. People are just losing their minds these days. But I'm right there. I'm good. I'm glad I live in the United States of America. And I listed some of the things like the freedom to gather, to preach, to pray. I'm right here broadcasting on, today I'm on 7 locations. Broadcasting, 8 locations. Broadcasting all around the planet. And that's because of the Constitution of the United States. I'm free to do that. And I can say whatever I want. I mean, if I said something that was real off color or something, I might get banned or something. But for the most part, I have freedom of speech, freedom to preach, freedom to gather together. We gathered together yesterday in our assembly as a family of God, as a church, and there was nobody there to arrest us or shut us down or shoot anybody because we live in a free country. You're free to own a Bible. You're free to own a Bible, a physical, personal copy of the Bible. You can have multiple. You can have apps on your phone. Not in lots of countries you can't. You can openly live your faith. You can wear the T-shirts that say Jesus saves or Holy Ghost or whatever you want. You can do that. Freedoms many around the world never have ever experienced. If you live in Nigeria, we had a Nigerian couple at our church yesterday, and I just felt grieved over their nation. The Muslims have killed so many millions of people in that country. So then I said, aren't you glad we have freedom of speech? That's beyond just Christianity. But just here's what I said: the ability to disagree, to debate, to write books about whatever, to teach, to express convictions openly, to say I believe that is a sin or it's wrong. I watched a guy in UK today one of the bobbies was out there arresting him because he said, "What you people are doing is wicked. You're sinners." He was quoting from the scriptures, and you read the Bible, you go to jail. I said, "Aren't you glad we have the opportunity to choose our leaders?" Now, I know it's been sketchy in recent years, and we know for sure now that a lot of the elections were rigged and they were computer controlled, possibly from outside countries. It's kind of crazy what's coming out, which I don't think any of us are really surprised. Unless we've drunk the Kool-Aid, we're pretty sure we know what's going on. Aren't you glad we have the opportunity to choose our leaders? I said this to the church. Citizens have a voice through voting and civic involvement. We can vote them in and we can vote them out and vote somebody else in and replace them. Aren't you glad for the sacrifices of those who served? And I have a special place in my heart for people who served in the military, especially in active duty. In wars like Vietnam or Korea. I've known lots of people that were in Vietnam and very, very damaged by Korea, in the Gulf Wars, in Afghanistan, all these incredible places where men went. And I told the church yesterday, did you know, I asked ChatGPT, I said, how many people have given their life in war for America? It's like 1.3 million people have died. It's 260, let me get this right, it's 1 per 260. One person for every 260 people have given their life to die for America. I was saying yesterday, 2 people died so we could have church. I mean, if you can look at it that way, the reality that people made sacrifice. I said, generations have given time, comfort, and many gave their lives to preserve our freedoms. They fought for our freedoms. Aren't you glad for the acts of generosity? What a generous nation this is. There's never been anything like it in history. Nothing like it. I mean, we were taking money up yesterday for Samaritan's Purse, and we're going to send thousands of boxes, and they send millions of boxes around the world to underprivileged kids. Who would do that? Well, a mostly Christian nation would do that. And aren't you glad for that? Here's what I wrote down in my notes. Americans have a long history of charity. Churches giving out food and clothing, and, we get calls continuously to help with their rent or electricity or whatever. We had to develop standards. We'd be overrun. We'd have to shut the doors. But we give, and relief organizations like Samaritan's Purse or these places give. Even the government. And the government will give people money to live on just because they don't have a job. Most countries don't have that either. That'd be a joke. They just let you starve to death, and they wouldn't care less. And individual people giving their own personal money, responding to needs locally and even globally. It's crazy. It's amazing. This nation is amazing. And aren't you glad for the beauty of this land? Wow, what a beautiful country we live in. Mountains, oceans, plains, forests, rivers, such an incredible variety. And then just a couple more, I said, aren't you glad for the freedom to raise your families according to your own convictions? That you are not forced by the government to teach your children a certain thing or a certain way. And aren't you glad for those who came before us, those who built, who farmed, who taught, who defended, who sacrificed, who handed something forward? I don't know if you know, but I've been to many nations where the generation before the current generation obliterated the nation. I mean, everything is a dust bowl, nasty, filthy, dirty, garbage everywhere. Nobody took any time. Nobody cared to leave anything for the next generation, but not in America, man. We're not perfect or anything. I'm not saying I don't worship this country. I'm so glad I live in the United States of America. I'm so glad for that. Let's look over in Psalms 100, verse 2, because this is really a spiritual message, not a political message. But I'm not going to say I'm not a bit ashamed. I love my country, and I've not always loved every leader as far as their ability or what they did, and many of them have alternative desires to destroy us. That's why we got to vote and get out there and do our part. But this is a spiritual message. Aren't you glad? What are you glad for? And I want you to think about that. Psalms 100, verse 2, serve the Lord with gladness. I love that verse. And it's kind of can I point my finger at you? Is that okay? I won't offend anybody. Serve the Lord with gladness. I want you to understand that it's a command. It's not, would you consider, or hey, what about thinking about this? No, it says bluntly, plainly, serve the Lord with gladness and come before his presence with singing. So it means that there, inside of us is a decision to be glad and to come before the Lord with a song, to worship him in song. Jesus told the woman at the well that he was looking for worshipers that would worship him in spirit and truth. Psalms 9, verse 2 says this, I will be, somebody say, that's me, it's me speaking. I will be. If I said I'll be there tomorrow at 10, that means I'm going to make an effort to get there at 10. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will rejoice in thee. I will be glad. I will rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to your name, O Lord Most High. Psalm 68, verse 3. But let the righteous be glad. That means they have to make a decision. Let it be their position. Let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them be exceedingly rejoice. Let them exceedingly rejoice. So glad, I've tried to point this out. Being glad is a decision. It's a decision you make. Nobody in the world, nobody in the church, nobody anywhere has perfect circumstances. We have moments where everything's going okay, but not always. And gladness is a decision, even in the midst of your mess, to be glad and rejoice in the Lord, to be grateful and thankful for who he is and what he's done in your life, and to recall even, to recite, to remember, to rehearse what the Lord has done. I'm looking to see if anybody else got in. Yeah, Miss Heather got in. Good morning, Miss Heather. Miss Vanover got in. Hey, Debbie. And Amber's in there. Good morning, Amber. These old Facebook pages don't. Catherine got in. They don't show you much. Nicole and Sean got in. Miss Toby got in. Sherry got in there. And I was advertising for you guys a minute ago, Sherry. We got the Bob's hat on. I was talking about Charlie Ramsey's Meats and Wise. Gladness is a decision. It's a choice. Are you glad? Say, no, I'm not glad because this has happened. No, gladness is in spite of this happening. We used to sing a song in church when I was a kid. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings. I love the way they'd hold that last note out. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. They'd pause right in the middle of the song, a big crescendo. Gladness is a decision. It's a choice. Here's what I told the church. I want you to kind of take this in. We can break it down a little. We have a little more time this week. We can break it down. Gladness reveals revelation. What does that mean? Reveals and revelations are the same word. No. Gladness, if you're glad, it reveals that you've had a revelation. It is evidence that you've seen things in your life that would be called blessing or generosity from people in God. And man, listen, y'all, I've got so much to be glad about. So I have to watch my mouth and not let it run away with me because I've got so much to be glad about. And when you're glad, that's a revelation that you've seen something. Here's what I told the church. Gladness repositions the observer to a new perspective. You know, it's sad that humans are like this, but we have to go through tough stuff to appreciate things we have. Like, for example, I had to go to a foreign country and look at what they were serving me to eat, the quality of it, the taste of it, the aftermath of it. I remember one place in Kazakhstan. I think they had caught pigeons outside, and they fed us pigeons. And not only that, they weren't cooked well, and I had dysentery. That might be a big word for some of you younger kids. I had diarrhea for 6 days. It tore me all to pieces. And so new perspective. When you see what other people don't have, and look at what you do have, you get a new perspective and you get to go, wait a minute, man, I should be glad that I have this. This car's only a couple of years old or 3 or 4 years old, and it's got good tires, and I can just take off and go to another state and not have to worry about it falling apart. I mean, I want you to think about that. You have a phone or internet or whatever. I mean, like in Iran, that, if you get on the internet, they'll kill you. And they've been cutting it on and off on people and murdering people. So gladness repositions the observer. When you take time to look for things to be glad about, suddenly somebody's running the vacuum cleaner. I'm sorry. Let me go. I can't get over there and shut the door. I just have to let it be. It repositions the observer, and you look at things differently. Gladness, let me turn the mic down just a little bit. Maybe you won't. I don't know if you can even hear the vacuum. You may not be able to hear it. Gladness is when you pause. Listen now. Gladness is when you pause and take in the goodness of God and the richness of his blessings. Now, how long has it been? I want you to think about that. How long has it been since you paused in your life and looked around and took in? Because I know we complain. We're so good at complaining. How long has it been since you paused and took in all the goodness of God and his blessings in your life? Like we said, count your blessings. Because sometimes we forget. I've never gone to a foreign country that, like I said when I opened the show, that I wanted to stay. I always wanted to come back to my blessed place because God has truly blessed my life and blessed my family and blessed you and me. We just have an incredible nation. And even though our government is so stinking corrupt right now and so many people are in there being fraudsters, I hope they're going to root it all out and get some similar. Anytime you have people, right? Anytime you have people, you're going to end up having issues because people do bad things. Wickedness is people. Wickedness and evil comes through people. And people do wicked, evil things. I see it all the time. It's plastered all over the internet and in the news. So gladness is when you stop, put the brakes on, take a pause, look around. It's sort of like gladness is sort of like these beautiful places you go, like the Overlook going down into Powell Valley or up to High Knob, and you get out of your car, turn the music off, and just walk out and stare at the beauty. That's sort of like gladness. Like, man, just take it in. Take it in how good God has been to you, how much he loves you. Gladness is when you pause and take in the goodness of God and the richness of his blessing. And I'll leave you. I'll get a different song going. Let me get a different song here. I think let's do that one. Okay, hold on. Here we go. So gladness is when you do that. Psalm 70, verse 4, let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. All those that seek thee rejoice and be glad. Okay, I'm going to do my closing here. Lately, I've been just letting the music play instead of reading all the words. And then I'm going to come back and look at your final thoughts about what we're talking about.
And the night gets loud.
Vital Axiom.
I got a promise in my bones. I don't back down.
Yeah.
They can throw their stones. They can line up tough. But the hand that holds my life is more than enough.
I want to say thanks for watching.
Who can separate what God has joined? I've been marked by grace.
Oh, yeah.
I
love this song.
Nothing can tear me loose. Nothing can tear me loose. In the strong hand of the Lord.
See, we got any comments from anybody? I'm going to start over on Instagram. There's Cassie said, wait a minute, she said I'm back up and out of commission the last 3 months. Back surgery really did that bad. I'm so sorry. Also, my arm. Please pray for Cassie. Pray for her. She needs our prayers. I get it. I totally get it, girl. And anybody else that's seen, let's look over here on the Vital Axiom official page. Patty says, have a blessed day. Dodie said, God is so good. Where would I be without him? Ain't that the truth, bro? Kim and Jackie said, good morning. And Heather said, wonderful message. Thank you so much. Give thanks to God. Amen. Miss Diana said, good morning. Good morning, Diana. How are you doing over there on Design Family Ministries page? And Miss Debbie and Dennis is in there with her. Let me see over here on my personal page. Anybody got anything to say before we go? I believe that's about everybody. Who can separate us from the love of God? Miss Gina said, this song is awesome. Have you been listening to it? Sherry said, yes, thank you for the advertisement. The Lord has blessed us in so many ways. Great message. Thank you, Sherry. Y'all get over to Charlie's Meat Market out there in Wise. Or if you're down in Big Stone, you can go to Bob's. I love my peoples. I love them. I want to bless them. I love this part right here.
Hell can't take what heaven made me. I was bought, I was kept, I was covered in blood, still standing, still praising under God's strong love.
Nothing can tear me loose. Oh, that's so good, isn't it? I love it so much. Arrivederci, Dodie. Thank you, God, for your keeping power.
I'm kept safe in the hands of the Lord.
Oh, yeah. I like this ending right here. Love y'all. See ya.